morning, I want to look at the journey to financial freedom. How you as an individual, as a family, as an organization can move from point A to get into the place where you are now financially free and where you are really coming to a place of wealth where whatever God requires or expects of you, you'll be able to produce. Do we understand that? Okay, so let's start from Proverbs chapter 4 and verse number 7. Proverbs 4:7. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and in all your getting, get understanding. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and in all your getting, get understanding. The New Living Translation says, getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do, and whatever else you do, develop good judgment. Now, God wants us to be wealthy. God wants us to have enough resources that we require to fulfill his assignment and his agenda for our lives. So as God's children, I believe that the church has already matured to a place where we know that poverty is not of God and God doesn't want us to be poor. But then in order for us to journey into a place of abundance and journey into financial freedom, we need to begin by doing what we call personal diagnosis. You need to do a personal diagnosis to know exactly where you are as an individual. So when it comes to journey to financial freedom, there are 5 different sets of people on the wealth pyramid. There are 5 levels on the wealth pyramid. And whatever level you find yourself in, you need to identify that level so that you can navigate your way out of that level. So let's begin from the lowest level. Because you see, on the pyramid or the triangle of wealth, there are people that are at the bottom. And it's always bottom heavy. You know, the triangle, the bottom is the biggest size. That's where we have most people. So the first level, which is the lowest level on that journey, are people that are in what we call financial crisis. Financial crisis. And that is where majority of people operate. As a matter of fact, the United Nations defines living in poverty as living below $2 a day. And living in extreme poverty as living below $1 a day. Amazingly, about 70% of people on the continent live below $1 a day. So that means that when you look at the entire continent of Africa, and that is reflected in most of the nations in Africa, you find that about 70% of the population are in financial crisis. 70% of the population are living in poverty, lack, and hardship. So when you are in financial crisis, you don't have any source of income. Or your source of income is not even enough that you have to live from hand to mouth and practically suffer all through life. When you are in financial crisis, it means that you lack everything that is required for a meaningful life. I hope you know that there are people that live under bridges. There are people that live in shanties all over the world, not only in Africa, all over the world. And these people, they live there. As a matter of fact, something amazing happened in our country just last month. There are people that have been living under a bridge in our country for years. So the government went to demolish the shanties under the bridge last month, and people were shocked that most of the people that were living there have been living there for over a decade, and that they actually pay rent every year. Yeah, that there are actually people that come to collect rent in a wooden shanty. There were lords that were lording it over people, even in that shanty, including law enforcement. But these people are also, when they say, are you alive? They will say they are alive. But that's the kind of life. So there are people that are in that realm where it's financial crisis. Where every time you are talking about money, they don't even understand what they're talking about because they have not even eaten. They are in financial crisis. But let me tell you something. If you are in that level, just know that that is not the plan of God for your life. And the fact that you are there does not mean that's where you will end. There's something about this God. He has the ability to change the stories of people. The Bible says he raises the poor from the dust and the needy from the dunghill, and he set them among princes, even the princes of the earth. So I believe that there are many people that will come through this week, and by the time we are done with this week, you have an encounter with God, and God will change your story. So number one is what? Financial crisis. The second set of people at the next, they are people that are in what we call financial instability. Financial instability. They are not really in crisis, so these ones are gainfully employed. They have a regular source of income, but the take home does not take them home. They have a regular source of income, but the income is not enough. So they have a job. Every day they wake up, they go to work. So what do you do for a living? They have a job, they have a career, they go to work. And they have been gainfully employed. So every month they get an income. Every week they get an income. Some of them are business people. They have a business they are doing. And every day they go. You see a lot of these people, going through the city. You see a lot of people selling different stuff by the side of the road. Food, kelewele, wache, kenke, banku. There are people all over. There are people at the bus stop selling stuff to you when you are in your trotro. They are selling. So they are employed. They have a job every day. They are making money, but they are poor. Why? Because they are in financial instability. So most of them, they probably get 5,000 Ghana cedis in a month or 3,000 Ghana cedis in a month, but their expenses is 17,000. So they're actually making money, they are working, but they have to now join one cooperative, collect money from here, borrow from here to pay this one and pay small. So they are not stable. And one of the amazing things about this group of people is that if one crisis or unexpected expenses comes into their life, they are back into crisis. And there are people that are working now, even the salary they will earn from now till December cannot pay the debt that they are already owing. But they are hardworking people. So these are the realities. So you need to now find out where you are, because the challenge I have with people is that if people are lying to you, don't lie to yourself. Self-deception is the highest level of deception. If you are deceived by people, you can be delivered from people's deception. But when you are deceiving yourself, it is called delusion. And when you are deluded, you end up in derision. That's madness. Hello? So don't lie to yourself. The third set of people are people that are in financial stability. And look, these ones, unfortunately, they are the ones that we celebrate. But to me, they are the most deceived set of people. You know why? I'll tell you. When people are in financial crisis, except they are deluded, they know they are in crisis and they are seeking for help. When people are in financial instability, except they are deceived and deluded, they know that things are not stable. They are seeking for help. But you see, those people in financial stability, they are very proud and arrogant and deluded. Why? These people have money. They are high net worth individuals. They are high flyers. They have cars. They are landlords. They have houses of their own. They travel abroad. Their children are in private schools. So they even have savings. They are the ones that you are celebrating. They are the ones you are trying to be like. But you know why they are the most dangerous set of people? Every money they are making is because they have a good job. The day they lose that job, 90 days later, they are poor. That's why it's very dangerous. So most of the people, they don't have plans for themselves. I've seen people that are high flyers and they lose their job, and you see them packing out of the official residence in shame. You see them collecting the cash from them, and then some of them have even collected loan from the company, and then you now see them within 90 days. The man that is always looking fine, well shaven, with smelling nice, you now see him, he looks like an old man. And you're like, what happened? He has lost his job. And most of them, they are not able to recover because the shock, because they have been in that business, maybe they have been there, high flyer, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 27 years. So by the time they now come out, they realize that they are no more in touch with reality. And they cannot start afresh again because they have become big boys. Their appetite is big. And they find themselves in financial instability. And it is at those times in life you begin to realize that many of your relationships are transactional. You begin to realize that people don't really love you. They love what you do. You begin to realize that all the friends you have, they were fair weather friends. Because most of them, the big guys that they used to meet together in golf club, meet together in the club, will no more pick their calls. To help you to understand how to move to a level where you will not be a victim, because like I said to you last year, God is your source. You remember? God is your source. Every other thing is a resource. The very minute you lose sight of that, there will be trouble. Because the definition I gave you last year is the software that runs kingdom people. Kingdom wealth is a wealth that has its source in God and the kingdom as its purpose. That's it. That should be your software. Anything I'm doing, oh, God is my source. Oh, the kingdom. It's all about the kingdom. It's all about the kingdom. So, number one is what? Financial crisis. Number two, financial instability. Number three, financial stability. Number 4, financial independence. And that's the realm that we should begin to work on and begin to flow in. Financial independence. Now, what do we mean by this? Note what I said about financial stability. The major deficiency is the fact that everything they have is based on the fact that they have a good source of income. And that source of income depends on them being available. And the very minute that source of income is jeopardized, they are in crisis. But now when you get to financial independence is level in your life where the income, please note now, you see that today I'm very slow this morning. I'm just taking, because if you get it, I'm building to get us to, once you understand this thing, it's like ABC software. Once it's there. Now, when you get to financial independence, it's a level where the income from your assets and your investments. So note those two words now. The income from your assets and your investment, not income from your labor. Because that's the problem with financial stability. You are making money with your own labor. You have to go to work. If you don't go to work, no income. If they sack you, no more income. But when you get to financial independence, we are saying that the income from your assets and your investments is enough to take care of all your needs and still have extra. So what does that mean? Now, if you are working now, and because you're a big boy, you earn 50,000 Ghana cedis a month. You are big. So every year you are doing over 500,000 Ghana cedis. And everybody's celebrating you. Oh, yeah, he's the chief, he's the country manager of this, he's the general manager of this, he's the kinecon of that, he's the CEO of that. And that's what you are earning. You are earning big. And because of that, you have a house, you've got cars, you're traveling. Now, the day you lose that job, that's 500,000, 600,000 will not come anymore. So it means that whatever you have saved is what you are now left with. And you now start looking for another job, or you start thinking about to start a business. But what we are now saying is that when you become financially free, it means that you have investments. So it's not that you are working. You probably have properties where the rents that people pay in your property is over 1 million Ghana cedi every year. You have assets that are producing money. You have investments. Imagine now that you have 200 taxis. 200 taxis that are out there every day working for you. 200, and you are getting income every day without you having to do anything. The money is just flowing in. Imagine that you have 18,000 flats or 18,000 rooms all over being used for short legs. Imagine that you have gold. Imagine that you have stocks in 16 multinationals all over the world. And every year you are doing between 5 to 10 million Ghana cedis just as income from your assets and investments. You can go on holiday for 6 months and you are still rich. That's financial independence. So all your labors, all your workings should be to move into that dimension. So when you are making money, you are supposed to be acquiring assets. When you are making money, you are supposed to be investing. So that when you get to a point where you cannot labor hard, then the money begins to flow from that angle. Do we understand that now? Then the final level is financial freedom. Now the difference between financial independence and financial freedom is when you have financial independence, all the income from your assets and your investments is able to take care of all your needs and you still have more. But when you enter financial freedom, all your income from assets and investment can take care of your needs and the needs of everybody that needs help from you, and you still have more. I hope you know there are people that have set up foundations because they are extremely rich. They set up a foundation, and in the foundation they have employed 100 people to come and help them share their money. Do you know that kind of wealth? When you set up a foundation, do you know people? There are people working for foundations right now, and they are high net worth individuals. The money that the foundation is paying them, they have official car, official accommodation, they travel around the world on the foundation, owned by another human being. Abba. Abba. You that you are working for a foundation, you are a big boy. So what now? So that means the foundation is safe. Employ 100 people. So when you hear of Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Bill Gates Foundation, you are wondering, these guys have money. Dangote Foundation. These are individuals. That Juma Foundation. These are individuals that have foundation, and in the foundation they have employed hundreds of people that they are paying every month. And the job of the people is, how do we share this money? Where do we share this money? That's financial freedom. Facts about wealth creation, because I just want to build. What are facts that you need to know about wealth creation that will help you as an individual? Number one, there is a wealthy place. Let me see if I can give you maybe 6 or 7. Number one, there is a wealthy place. What does that mean? You see, when we talk about wealth, please note this. Don't ever fall to the trap of scarcity, where somebody, scarcity mentality is a scam. And we hear those things being said over and over again, and many times we don't examine things that we hear. We just listen to them, especially when we are working based on religious software. Anybody can just wear suit and tie, say something behind the pulpit, you just believe, instead of going to do the work of thinking. When you say there is no money, think about it. You will realize that you are lying. That's not an accurate statement. When you say there is no money, what do you mean by there is no money? Now, all the money in the world is still in the world. Think of it. Money did not travel. Alien did not take it away. So when you say there is no money, you are lying. What you should say is you don't have money. Every year, your nation declares budgets. Every year, billions. And at the end of the year, they will tell you they have done supplementary budgets, they have added to it. So it means that that money actually came into the system. How many came to you? And you say there is no money. So in a year, they will declare billions. This sector, that sector. The way you should be thinking is, okay, once they declare budget, you now sit down. What is my portion in that budget? How much of that budget should come into my company and into my life? What products can I offer? What service can I offer? What sector has there been budgeted for? That's how you operate. So people wonder, say, how do you look? As a pastor, I do it. When I sit down, I'm looking for part of the budget that concerns me. Because they don't budget for religious duties in my country. And I'm a pastor, so I know that there is no money in that one for me. So I'm not going to be looking to, when I say, okay, they say they are going to be training the workforce, I say, training. So I say, okay, what are the training that they need? So we start writing proposal. We can train you with capacity building training, cost, and therefore you know it. And then in your packaging of training, you have to be psychological. So you have to be able to also put something there that will attract their ego and attract their lust for. I shouldn't be telling you this. Number 2, there is a path that leads to the wealthy place. There is a path that leads to the wealthy place. Number 1, there is a wealthy place. Number 2, there is a path that leads to the wealthy place. We're all here today now. The only reason we're all here is because we knew this address. And we decided to be here. But we did not all come from the same house. And we did not all come the same way. Some of you trekked down here because your house is not too far. Some of you took the cab. Some of you drove down. I flew down. But we're all here now. So this place exists. But the path that brought us here is diverse. So if you want to go to the wealthy place, there are pathways to wealth. Hello? There are paths that leads to the wealthy place. Your path is not my path. The problem is we keep comparing ourselves with other people, trying to do what other people are doing. No. The Bible says measuring themselves with themselves, comparing themselves with themselves, they are not wise. There's a principle in marketing or in the marketplace called the copycat principle. And now the copycat principle states that anytime you pioneer something, within 6 months, other people will copy you. So if you want to be ahead of the market, anytime you are pioneering something, factor in the copycats in whatever you are doing. To say, okay, this thing we are starting now, in the next 3 to 6 months, people will start copying on. So whatever you want to do, you must have 3 to 4 layers of evolution ready. So that as you are doing the first one, as they are trying to copy you, you release level 2. Before they get to level 2, you release 3 and 4. By the time you are faster than they can catch up, they will now come to submit to you as an authority in the market. Hello? And you know why that happens? That happens because there are people that have money without idea. So they're always waiting for ideas to use their money to capture. You can start something small, and in less than 1 year, they will head you out of the market. Because somebody else has money that doesn't have idea. When they say, this is true, I can do this, they will now bring 50 times of the money you started with into the same sector, and you begin to, people will not even believe you are the one that started it. Hello? So there is a path that leads to the wealthy place. So everybody must therefore now find out what is my own path to the wealthy place. So there is a pathway. So you need to find your pathway. And like I've said, like we'll also see again, there are 3 portals of wealth creation. You can either do it through the entrepreneurial portal, intrapreneurial portal, or through the investment portal. So find out what is your own path to enter into that wealthy place. Number 3, wealth is created. Wealth is created. Wealth is created. In the world that we live in today, please listen. Nobody just wakes up and discovers that they are wealthy. Someone must take responsibility for the creation of wealth, whether in an individual life, in a family, in another. Someone must take responsibility for the creation of wealth. Have you noticed, listen to this, have you noticed that when people begin to make money, you start hearing, let us investigate the source of their money? Have you ever heard anybody say, let's investigate the source of their poverty? No, nobody will investigate the source of your poverty. That's your responsibility. It is your responsibility to sit down and ask yourself, why was my grandfather poor? Why was my father poor? Why am I poor? Why is it that in this world, all of us were born together? My father keeps talking about his friends that are rich. Why was he not rich like them? Why was my grandfather not rich? It's your job to investigate it. Because if you don't do that thinking, you will not know. You see, when we refuse to learn from history will repeat itself. So when you sit down and ask yourself, investigate, why are we poor in our family? That's how you are going to change the story. Because I don't understand. You went to school, now you have graduated, you are looking for a good job. Please, who should create the good job and employ you? If it was easy to start a business, why did your father not start one? Why did you? No, these are reality. Why didn't they start one? There are people whose parents started business. When they graduated like you, they are not looking for a job. They just resume in their father's company. Because if you don't do what I'm telling you to do now, history will repeat itself. Listen, are you ready? I hope you know that you are an ancestor already. You are an ancestor. So all those generational curses people are breaking. Oh Lord, oh Lord. I just laugh with all this religious nonsense that we do. Listen, where your ancestors has failed you, you cannot afford to fail your descendants. Because you are also an ancestor. Think about it. Many of you sitting down here right now, in another 50 years, in another 70 years, you'll be gone. Now think of it. I've been in church now 38 years. My first child is a girl. She's 26. My second child is 24. The last one is 11. So please ask me. So I was already a pastor when I gave birth to my children. So are you telling me now that after 38 years in church, my children should be breaking the altar of their father's house? Am I not the altar? No, because this is when you are praying all this useless prayer, you need to think well. So now, you mean now that after 38 years, there is still an altar? My children should be saying, every evil of my father's house, I am the father. And there is no evil. So they are supposed to be talking of generational blessings. But why are they not talking of generational blessings? Because we don't understand that wealth is created. So we keep waiting that maybe one day somebody will lay hands on us and we'll just become rich and wealthy. Prophecies can never change your life until you apply principles. Prophecies are fulfilled by principles. What am I saying? Wealth is what? Created. Someone must take responsibility. And you must be that person to say, in my family, I'm sick and tired of poverty. This poverty must end with me. And then you begin to do what needs to be done. Or else it will continue. Because think about it. Look, I don't know about you, but... And that's why the next generation is no more falling for all this deception. You see a lot of younger people now, the Gen Z, these guys are looking for supernatural power. They are looking for the reality of God. Many of them are trying magic, trying spiritualism, because they are tired of all this church, all this prayer when they pray, you know they walk. So we have been praying since every time, fasting, 10 days, 7 days, 21 days, 51 days. So when will the thing be answered? Hello? Number 4. Wealth creation takes time. Wealth creation takes time. Wealth creation takes time. One of the challenges of our world today again is what we call the get rich quick scheme. People want to blow. In this kingdom, we don't blow, we grow. If you blow up, you scatter, you disintegrate. Bombs blow, balloons blow. But in this kingdom, people don't blow, they grow. If you jump up, you will come down. If you grow up, you will stay up. So avoid get-rich-quick scheme. Have you noticed that all the schemes that people have complained about that has made people to lose money is always schemes that are speculation. Schemes that are, forex, crypto, one scheme, put money there, you will get this one. How many people have you heard that said they bought land, built a house, and the scheme failed? The real one that are evergreen, that has not failed, you won't touch it. They have been selling land before your great-grandfather was born. You didn't buy. But when you heard that there's one forest, you now go into forex and end up in the forest of poverty. You say, this one is crypto. Now they kryptonize your life. And you are now experiencing krypton. And you are wondering, what is this? Man of God is so bad that even now, people are now into what we call betting. It's heavy spirituality now. Even churches are carrying offering to go and bet. Pastors, yeah, pastors are betting now. I don't know whether you have that in Ghana here. In Nigeria, Cameroon, South Africa, they are betting houses with computers. Everybody will be betting. These things have been there since we were young. It used to be pool. They call it pool. They'll be using biro to write, red biro, green. Now they have made it electronic. And people are betting with their school fees, betting with their house rent. So wealth creation does what? It takes time. It takes time. Please listen. Those of us that you see that are wealthy today, we didn't fall down from heaven. Hello? And we did not become wealthy one day. It took time. Precept upon precept, line upon line. A little here, a little there. You save here, you invest here, you do this one. And over time, because true wealth takes time to be built.